So open your mind and open your heart. Open the human intellect with divine love. You see, that is the essence of living a centered life. Today's talk was originally called Communing with the Divine. As I listened, I fully understand that it's communing as the divine. Do you see, if there is only one, you can't communicate with something outside of that which you are. So right now, we are communing in a field of oneness. And it comes to us as we open our mind and we open our heart in conjunction, with each other, and we embrace it in oneness. Not that we're bringing separate entities of ourselves, but we're bringing the one entity of ourselves that's always been there. The intellect and the heart have always been together in oneness. It is only through a perception of separation that we think with the mind and we act with the heart. But it's really a oneness of stating, and that oneness, that living in that state, is living from the Christ. So when we talk about the idea of what do we do here every Sunday at Agape in religious science, we come to understand the relationship of the divine aspect of who we are and the individual aspect that we are. But we're both at the same time. Sometimes we call it the human, but to say it's only the human would be really diminishing ourselves, not seeing the fullness of who we are, because we are not just this human body. We're just not this mind thinking through. We are the infinite expressing as us, and the infinite expressing as us knows no bounds, so we know no bounds. But there's also an infinite that is even beyond who we are, that we are one with, that is expressing. So the infinite that I am is expressing infinitely. The infinite as Leo is expressing infinitely. The infinite as all of you, the infinite of the world. But yet there's a oneness there. So we come together here to understand this idea of the unity of one. The intellect and the heart, the universal and the individual. And we come for this understanding because when we do that, we realize that the universal power, the universal life that creates all things is the same universal life, the same universal power that we use. And so we come here to understand the connection, our oneness, and then we understand this power, and then now how do we use that in our lives? See, that's the essence of what we teach. That's the essence of what we practice. So why is it then, if that's all that's involved, do we need a spiritual community? Why can't we just go and read a book? Why can't we just go on the internet, watch YouTube videos? Why can't we just be by ourselves? Because if we isolate ourselves, we would deny the oneness that we are. You see, the interaction of the Christ that is Lee with the interaction of the Christ that is you is the way that creation takes place, and we come here to create. We come here to express. We come here to experience because we are the unique aspect of the divine that is here to do that, and that's what the divine does. So we come together to create this, but we come together to support each other, to love each other, to be in a community that sees this light, where there's a common recognition of it. So we come together in a group consciousness that welcomes, that loves, that supports, that will speak words of truth that allow us to see life at a higher level. I read this from Ernest Holmes yesterday, and it really touched me because I never heard it. I didn't hear it this way when I read it the first time. And Ernest said this: we are all unconscious and conscious, mental, emotional, spiritual, broadcasting, and receiving stations. Did you hear that? We are a mental, emotional, and spiritual receptor. We receive all of the energy that is everywhere. It's out there and we're receiving it. To give you an idea, has anyone here ever been to a rock concert? When you walk into the arena, what do you feel? The collective energy. When you walk into a place, if you're walking and you're listening to the news, will you pick up an energy that's coming from the news? When you walk into a restaurant, will you pick up an energy from a restaurant? No matter where you go, there is this vibration of energy depending on where you're at, and you are a natural receptor to it. And if you're unconscious about the power that you are, that receptor will shift your mood. And when it shifts your mood, it will shift your consciousness, it will shift your thoughts, and as it does so, it will shift your experience. Because the law that is working as you takes the sum total of what you've thought to this point with the emotions and beliefs and convictions behind it, and it will now start to demonstrate. And what we feel is a product of that demonstration. So also, when we walk into an arena, when we walk into a group, and if we've got this energy, will the group feel the energy? Big yes? And if you're not in that place, will the group feel that energy? So I say that because in community, here's the first thing that we create. We create a place that is safe. A safe where everyone can come and be their authentic self. And in being their authentic self, they will not be tried to be fixed by others. They will be accepted. But the others in this community will see that they are not this experience, but they are the divine. And this experience is temporary. And when you look at someone in your community, when you look at someone in your family through the eyes of love, you do not see them in the condition. You see them in their magnificence. And through that insight, through that feeling, they will transform because you are expressing the Christ light, the Christ consciousness. There is no more powerful energy in the world. That energy alone will shift the world. So we come together to be in community to support each other. No, to be a safe place. The second thing we do is we come together to support. Because if you look at our mission statement, our purpose statement, we teach a positive, practical spirituality that empowers and supports personal growth and joyous living. So we teach in a safe environment, and then we support. And the idea for support is, it comes from this idea. People are more important than things. People. Now, when we say people, remember, it's not just the physical body. It's the allness of God that's individually expressing as each person. So that when we are there to support, we're not just supporting a physical body, we're supporting the wholeness of God expressing as an individual. Do you see how that is? The other day, I had the great opportunity in my ministerial role to be in the hospital. And in the hospital, you are given the greatest opportunity to look at the people who are in that room, the patient and the family, and the only thing you see is God. You only see the love. You only see the perfection. And in the seeing of that, you know that it is the divine demonstrating itself. You do not see the illness, because the illness is not God. The illness is the recognition that it's time to make and transcend. Do you see, when the human body is ready to shed itself, it does so. That means the soul is ready to move on. So as a community, we love and we support everyone in their journey, and realizing there is no beginning and there is no end. There is just the journey, and the journey is infinite. It will always be unfolding. So here we are in community, supporting each other as we go about our infinite journey. Our journey that does not have limitation, that does not have bounds, regardless of what the past did. The past is not precedent for God. God knows no boundaries, and you are that. You are the Christ, so there are no boundaries in your life. You have the freedom to create because of your oneness with it. The most important aspect, this is number one, of coming together. And Ernest Holmes said this so clearly when he said, when people come together with one person, with one purpose and one accord, a greater power is generated. Not because of the number of people, but because of the up-leveling of consciousness. You see, right now at Agape, in this very moment, there's a connection going on with everyone here right at this moment. And right now, it's not my consciousness that's speaking. It's not your consciousness that's living individually. It's the whole consciousness that we are that is desiring to lift itself to a higher level. And from that, this day will be created. This day allows us to create anew with no blockage, no limitation, because we've raised ourselves. So we come together not only to see our individual oneness, to express our oneness, but to be a part of a greater sense of oneness. That is what community is about. So people say, why do you come to Agape? I come because when I'm there, I feel the power that I am. And I feel the sharing of that power that I am with others. I am loved and I'm supported, and I love and support. And together, my life with these magnificent community, we're changing the world, because when we go out, our energy is vibrating at such a level that we can only attract that which we're vibrating like. We effectively change the world with our very presence. And so we come here on Sundays to recharge, to remember, to reveal spiritual truth within us. The thing that sets us apart is because each of us here is authentically who we are. There is no other place in the world that has the authenticity of God that is in this room. Do you notice that is not a comparison? There's no other place in the world where this consciousness that you are is present. And together, that consciousness has created an energy that is pure, that is whole, that is authentic of God. And so we come together in this safe place to support each other and to then realize that collectively we uplift our revealing of our truth, and from that we create. So what I understand Agape to be is that we are unconditionally loving, and in that it's safe, because in an unconditionally loving environment there is safety. We are outrageously caring, because to support someone from unconditional love, it must be outrageous care. And then to know the truth of who we are, to come together in a higher consciousness, to express individually and collectively, then what we are about is unprecedented growth. Do you see how that fits together? Unconditional love, outrageous care, unprecedented growth. What I've just expressed to you is the creative process. This is what we're here to do. This is who we're here to be. So I invite you this week to go forward and start. We're about to start the holiday season. When you start it, embrace your mind, embrace your heart. Remember they are one, and live the life of the Christ. Because I see you, and you are that, and you are perfect, just as you are.